There are a couple of different methods for drawing rectangles in SketchUp. In the first method, you start drawing and then type in dimensions, and SketchUp will complete the rectangle for you. And this is very much like AutoCAD. I'll start drawing a rectangle at the origin point, and then I'll type in two values. Rectangles are two-dimensional, so we have to separate the length from the width, and it depends on the language that you're using. In English, we separate values with the comma. So I'll type in 12 feet, comma, 20 feet, and press Return or the Enter key on the PC. In SketchUp, you can keep your values positive, unlike in AutoCAD. So for example, let's say I'm drawing a rectangle over this way. If I was in AutoCAD, I would have to type in negative 12 feet, comma, negative 20 feet, because I'm going in the negative red and negative green directions. In SketchUp, that results in a rectangle over here on the other side. The negative values in SketchUp mean to go in the opposite direction from where your cursor is. So generally, we don't even have to worry about sign in SketchUp. We can just draw a rectangle over this way, and we can just say 12 feet, comma, 20 feet, and the rectangle goes in that direction. Of course, SketchUp also uses a relative coordinate system, so you don't have to start everything from the origin point. You can start at any arbitrary point and type in values, and they will work relative to the point that you started from. There's another method for drawing rectangles that I favor over this AutoCAD style approach, and that is simply to draw a rectangle at some arbitrary size. It doesn't really matter. And then immediately afterward, go back and type in values to dimension it. I'll type 12 feet, comma, 20 feet, and the rectangle is resized accordingly. If I mix up the length and the width, which I often do, I'll just reverse the numbers and type them in again. 20 feet, comma, 12 feet. Unlike lines, arcs, and circles, with rectangles you don't have the ability after you create the object to go back in Entity Info and set anything about it. So for example, I can select this face and I can see the area, but if I change this to 300 square feet, it won't let me do it. It's not possible to affect the form by changing the number here. Similarly, I can select everything and then deselect the face so that I just have the edges selected, and now I can see the perimeter length of those edges, but I don't have the ability to change it. So you only have one opportunity to dimension a rectangle, and that's immediately after you create it. There are two different guides that are built into rectangles. The first is the square guide, and you just have to move your cursor around until you see this highlight, and then you can be assured that you're going to be drawing a square. You don't hold down the Shift key as you might in Adobe applications. You just have to move the cursor around until this pops onto the screen. And if I click there, I can be assured that I have a square. Similarly, you can also work with the golden section. You just have to move it more over in this proportion, and you'll see the golden section, which is a proportion that's been known for thousands of years. The golden section is considered to be the most aesthetically pleasing proportion in existence, and it's related to the Fibonacci numbers. There's a plugin that's been written by Rick Wilson of Smustard called Golden Gauge, and it's related to the golden section. It uses Fibonacci numbers to create a component that's scaled when you insert it into SketchUp. And it works like this. You go to the Plugins menu and choose Golden Gauge. Read the status line down here to see what's happening. It says select first end, select width, and then select height. This golden gauge is meant to work in elevation. When I click the height, it inserts this component, which is automatically sized according to the points that I click. Now I can use the golden gauge to help me proportion an elevation.